Sure. I want to jump the gun. Yeah, that's it right there. Why is it doing that? No, yeah. There we go. Okay. They better buy them a $50 high point or something.
Drewski would release a
That nigga lost his mind. Boy. That nigga lost his mind. Well, at least he didn't put on a dress. Let's get this right. That's the funniest. I don't know why somebody sent me that. I don't care about no damn Drewski. Oh man, you know, sold him soul. Nothing I can do. Ain't nothing I can do about him or for him. These motherfuckers want to see me change. Stupid asses. Excuse my language. Let me see. Oh, that's right. Yeah. I'm not monetized. I'll play whatever music I want, you fuck monkeys. Stupid asses. No, we ain't doing that. We're gonna play a little my boy Everlast. And one another. See, don't perm my hair, nothing. Ain't that great? My shit's thick and my hair getting thin. It's changing like a motherfucker. It's crazy. My people last night were like, "Damn, bro, you." I'm like, "Yeah, what I'm do? I ain't got a bathroom to do nothing like that." I'm like, "Yo, you watching my hair grow on my head?" He's like, "Yo, oh yeah." I'm like, change, whether you like it or not. Still big ass, still. Got to count how many times it been blessed. Falls off tracks, starts smoking the crack. And once it hits his brain, starts the chain react. Sells the shirt off his back, shoes off his feet. He's losing all his teeth, now he's out in the street. And all of a sudden, it's like Jesse James. Trying to stick up his hope they watches and change. So he's from business school and he's nervous with the tools. So he ends up on his back in a bloody pool. Snitch on one another. Sometimes kids get murdered for the end. So before we go any further, chick named Sally had a nice skirt. Where did I went? She was up in the cut, swinging that butt like race your ass. Only rap the men's that rock the flock in. Brand name wearing, champagne waving, jewels around the neck, style she's crazy. Ain't no saving, she's doing no spending. You do the landing, she'll do bending. Straight machine bending, it's money for taking. Shopping sprees, get up on her knees. Hit her with the keys in your crib, you acting funny. Come home one day, find counting out your money. Wetlands all the way to the money. When you broke, she spent If you're rich, you might swallow. Some people will rob their mother for the ends. Let's snitch on one another for the ends. Sometimes kids get murdered for the ends. So before we go any further, I want my hands. Yeah, I'm shot, my boy. Oh, what's going on? Health, greetings, baby. What's going on, Thom? Dad, what's cracking? What's going on, beloveds? Sharon, what's up, mama? Let's let them all come in. It's the great end. What's going on, fam? I hope y'all stick around. Let's try to let some people come in. I'm not giving no attention. I'm going to speak on stupid, all right? We're intelligent, right? Sometimes we got to do things smart. They took down something called this monkey. Anyway, I don't care. I've got the video. It's downloaded. It's all over the place. But these little fake motherfuckers, these fake individuals think that it really matters to me. Well, today we're going to give a little light. Sometimes, Everlast, my boy, right? Yonkers, Irish drunk bub, used to sit there and get his sips twisted. He get paid for this. These monkeys get paid. So what's the problem with letting it play? They think that I'm not getting paid. They demonetize it because they faggots, right? They don't own or control nothing. The U.S. corporation is dead. This is the republic. They really don't have no control except for the marginal line because they ain't creating nothing. They ain't make nothing. They keep converting and making motherfuckers stupid. Psyops. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to do nothing against it. Hey, man, I don't care. But they the only ones care, so that means I'm renting space in their motherfucking toboggan. All right, they're all emotional. And they're going to get the weakest of them to try and act out. I'll put them down. I don't care. But I'm not here for that. Dumbasses. They're too stupid. Rising man at the grocery store, making for some change. There were the things, red locks stand for the mange. Asked for 10 for what he could spare with shame in his eyes. Get a job, you fucking slobs, all he replied. God forbid you ever had to walk a mile in his shoes. Then you really might know what it's like to sing the blues. Then you really might know what it's like. Then you really might know what it's like. Woo! Then you really might know what it's like. Then you really might know what it's like. Praying from a kid named Tom, said he was in love. Worry about a big dollar man you been dreaming of. Woo! Yo, this is my shit, yo. What's that? Yeah, what's going on, Adam? Massachusetts, what's going on, beloved? What's cracking? They call her a sinner, and they call her a sinner, and they call her a whore. Got a big, you ever had to walk a mile in her shoes. Then you really might know what it's like to have to choose. Then you really might know what it's like. Then you really might know what it's like. Then you really might know what it's like. Whitey for Blues, this is shit, man. Everlast. House of Fame, y'all know that's my time, man. Jump around and everything. Nigga seen a good man sin, I've seen a tough man cry. Seen the silver win and the sad man grin. I heard the honest man lie. Seen the good side of bad and the upside of
up and everything between. Silver spoon, smoke the finest green. Woo! It's dimes eat times before I broke their hearts. Woo! So we in our 60s now, man. That was back in them 80s and 90s and all that shit. Yeah, man. God damn. That's hard bumpers, you know what I'm saying? We used to run hard with our Irish brothers, you know what I'm saying? We used to get fat stats on the corner with Rob. That's right, with drugs, baby. That's when New York was New York. New York, something wrong with them right now, bro. I don't know what's going, man. A lot of fighting, ain't but like a few people got hands. It's like, oh, it's just sad, bro. The smart ones are getting out. The smart ones getting businesses and, oh man. Oh, my people be hitting me up left and right. Yo, Red, I done met so many people from New York over here. It's like, they be like, yo. My boy Johnny works with us. His pops just went back, but he upstate, so he ain't gonna mess around downtown, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, met a couple of cats out here, big, you know, Strong Island, you know what I mean, Long Island. A couple of my homies from Queens out here, they like, man, it's like McDonald's in Queens is like Denny's. 24-hour spots, crazy, man. How y'all doing, man? I don't want to be all on here cussing and all that nonsense today. I just want to go ahead. I want to ring some things. Y'all see the thumbnail? Excuse me. I just got a message. Yeah. Landlords can't ban guns. I know that's right. Everything's breaking up. But anyway, you see the thumbnail. Woman, man, earth, you know, black. I mean, I put an exclamation mark because this is something that, you know, liars of everything, you know, and then when you think about Nestle and the government, so they're hitting Nestle, and we know BlackRock and all these, we know they're all behind it. Y'all know that water you've been drinking for the last 15, 16 years by Nestle, it had sometimes you got sick, you thought it was the food or something like that. They've been, and they tell you that the spring water, like that Perrier and stuff like that, it's been nothing but pool water. They didn't care. They're carbonating and it's putting out to the masses. This is the very same. You see how they destroyed Palestine. And you know what I'm talking about. It's the very same thing they're doing here. But now there's Roots Christians, all kind of these different orders. I'm going to lay this down, then I'm going to give you something because I know people are still on the Moors, MERS, and all this other stuff. I'm going to help you out with something because I had an uncle who was a 32nd, became 33rd. He had to read the Satanic verse, all this stuff because he was in the money-making side. And he passed away. I told you I met in Edinburgh, Scotland, these three individuals. The oldest was a woman. She was like the head of everything. 90 years old. It was in the 80s. These were Moors. Scottish Rite, Yorkshire Rite, all this other stuff. Now she was 33rd, but she was above that. She was actually above that. This above 33rd degree, and then the other one was 87 and 85. And then we had the big guy like Brutus, the Popeye. This guy had to be about 300-400 pounds. He looked like a bison sitting in the corner. I'm serious. This guy was like 5 times my size. I was like 170 pounds at the time. You know, at 5'9.5". This guy was humongous, you know. I was a boxer. That wouldn't have done, I don't know, that wouldn't have done anything. Because the dude was just, that's like punching on a 400-pound, you know, punching bag. Where's it going? You feel me? Unless your hands are darts, you know what I'm saying? And then how many times you got to jab him and you got to break, you know? So regardless of that, it's not about violence. And then there's my boy Bilal and a whole lot of other folks that told me, don't become a Mason, brother. You got too much, you know the things that is a requirement. And I was like, but I only met a couple other brothers who are from Mississippi, North Carolina, and Oklahoma, 3 of us. And we hung together a lot, and they were Choctaw. And the other one was Chickasaw like me. My father. My mother was Anahuia. Nobody even knew that word. That's why I got on Dane, on Dane, talking about is using that term as a name. No, you can't do that. Anakia is what these people running around with fake Cherokees, and those who were utilized to write the Constitution, the original one. It was our thing. That's why I tell people that Second Amendment was meant for the Negro, nobody else. But that was on the peace treaty, on a usury. They just changed it all, and they wrote a different history and all the other fake stuff, Boston Tea Party. Yet they paint themselves like us to create something. You see the very thing like whatever 7th, using certain group people to, like 9/11, hypothetically, I'm using these things, to cause a stir to make people war against each other, all right, by imitating somebody else. More and more truth is coming out. But in this truth, we're going to get in the woman and man. In this truth, they're still using this you can tell who the Cabbage Patch Babies and the incubator babies, no matter what position, high position, because in the Bible and the Torah and everything else what it says about those who are in high places. So, they're still using this term African American or African in the context of usurping the origin of our stories. The most beautiful people are Chinese and even the Japanese. Regardless of the dumb racists who are running around with light-skinned folk and they've consummated a relationship as if right is right or some nonsense like that, which is pure nonsense. They're black. My Filipino brothers, I served with and everything. I love them to death. Negritos, or negritas, and they're all through South America. They were in Louisiana. The Spanish term, or indigo. Black. Melanated. We're just using black. We know it means light, it means actually the opposite. But more and more are coming to this realization. Now you got these idiots in Cuba who come here, and some of these dumb Spanish folks, not all, far from it, who want to assimilate, thinking that white is right or it protecting. Whether it's picking up the Arabic line, because a lot of people with Spanish are Arabic. They're not what you think. That's part of the fallacy. Not all. And then there are a lot who are of the other variant, the wild men of born, like the hairy, but not hairy no more, Ashkenaz, whatever you want to call them. Warlike people. And they haven't created anything. Nothing. They have set up with the fiat to manage people with inventions and everything else, to have people go out and task and make things, and then to bring them together and make all kind of weapons based on what we did before. Because we had a great war. Tardy fell because somebody somehow used our atomics. We're going to call it atomics right now. They used it. Killed billions of our people, man. So they had to start over because they didn't accomplish. Now it was where they were able to learn more history and dabble in things that were hidden that we just don't remember. Well, majority of you don't remember. And what was the first thing they had to do? They had to stunt the woman. So let me go ahead and pull this up. Okay? I'm going to read this to you. And these fake Masons, the Rockefellers and all of them, they're fakes. They're frauds. Carnegie, Bushes, all of them are frauds. All right? They're not about building nothing, about destroying. It's the opposite. Okay? I don't have to cuss and all that other, you know what I'm saying? So, I think this is a synonym, or what we use is a rule of thumb is a practical, approximate guideline based on experience rather than precise science. It originates from 17th century tradespeople using their thumbs for rough measurements. That is not what it is. This is how they keep changing stuff, all right? The misconception, the common message relates to old laws allowing a man to beat his wife, which it did. What was that thing? We have the butterfly effect and all that other stuff. What was the other one when they tried to say about Sinbad and all that stuff, those movies that came out, and they tried to say, that's there no more. It was before, and they try to, psyops. They're trying to show that they control your brain through certain frequencies that are put out into the airways with the aluminum and everything else. But that's a lie, because we learned this when I was growing up in school, that the rule of thumb was, and it was real, and that's why feminism came off of this, the CIA, where they marched in the streets in 1920 to stop the men, the Masons who had took these babies and created these offspring and everything, and they used to beat them to keep. We read a book. Remember, I was reading that light-skinned woman from South Africa. Remember, I read all her books, and I stopped halfway in the last one because I felt like you should go and read it. But they say a misconception. This is the psyop. This is the lie. A common myth suggests, because the CIA lies to you all the time. They're supposed to be outside, and yet they're doing everything here. The common myth suggests it relates to old laws allowing a man to beat his wife with a stick no thicker than his thumb. But this is a false etymology. No, it is not. It is the truth. All right? It's a fact. And anybody my age, a little younger, and a lot older, know it was the truth. All right? It was plastered everywhere. It's a reality, and they could sit here and they can lie all they want. It's not going to change. All right? And this is the funny thing about it all. Okay? So, that being what it is, let me get this on. As you see, when I had expressed to y'all about religion, this is another part. Genghis Khan, a nigga, all right, a nigga, okay, we'll do the Boondocks teacher, but he always says nigga, nigga this, nigga that, you know. When they had conquered Cathay, they took two nephews of Genghis Khan. One would become Catholic, and the other one would become Muslim. And they would go out and they would take this out and teach the masses. This is part of the new right with this by the sword. We always hear this thing about Muhammad. In the Quran, they got him as white. What it's alluding to is the fact that what they wanted to say, because anybody that knows the truth about Muhammad, he was illiterate. It was about this language and stuff we speak and what we do now. He was angered at what was happening to our people, and he took the sword to fight back, to save our people around the world. And there was no religion. And they slaughtered him and his cousin. And then all of a sudden it became a religion based on his righteous path. Now you see what's come out of it. It has changed so much, but you see what they did to women. Why am I saying this? Because the black church and everything else have used the woman as a scalpel, as a vice, as a tool for destruction. While at the same time attempting to eradicate them to make man in the Moloch, this a feminist thing where, you know, man can be a woman, and as you see, most of these presidents and everything else were married to men. It's the opposite of life, all right? Okay, put that away. Let's go back over here. Oh, there we go. So, this government's behind it because in order to have war, you have to have those with the most perverse mind, or easy to manipulate. As a lot of veterans and officers are starting to realize it and speaking out. Even those who probably gave up their life telling these secrets. That is well known in the child sacrificing rings and everything else that it's easier to have a man in a high position who's a homosexual, married with a woman, whatever. They're easier to manipulate. Not a fear and all of that, a base of tough man with stars in general, you know, all this stuff. To push strong man into war. They don't care. And you've seen that because there's a gentleman, James O'Keefe, who was going around and he was outing all these different things. So when the frauds came along and used the same individuals to push him out of his own network and thing what he created. He went and created another one. If y'all look at him for him on Instagram, you'll see that. And everybody they came across, it didn't matter what crayon color, especially in California, it seemed like that's unbelievable. Every one of those men who were part of the mRNA, this, that, and the other, the drones, the Neuralink and all that, were gay men. It's like all they cared about is being able to get up the backside. No morals whatsoever. And you've had a few of them speak out as well because they saw the ones with morals, what was going on. The other ones just about riches and I could do what I want. And, oh, John, you know what I'm saying? That's how perverted it is. You see P. Diddy, you see all of them, all right? How they sacked our hip-hop movement. It wasn't a movement, and it was only get hip-hop because that's what the license called it, because we were popping all around the floor. They hippity-hopping it all over the place, got a hippity-hoppity horse. That's not what we called it, okay? Now I think that's the only thing they invented. Other than that, it was capoeira. It was something from the 1920s and 40s, the old way of us dancing and martial arts and gymnastics, which we were all pretty good at. Street tumbling and from roof to roof, running from the fake police. But this is what they call it hippity hoppity, hip hop, and it stuck. And then the first thing they did was going out there, and they had these people with the fiat, you know who, and they were able to find the ones willing to do certain things and party with them and drugs, and they had a little talent. You can't deny the talent of our gay community. You see it, the clothes and everything else. Now you have gay people who don't like what happened, all right? And that's the thing they always quiet and hid. Whenever they have the money and the media, they can manipulate it. Still about woman and man, don't pay attention. Though we created all this stuff, they had to downplay the strength of us so they could break up the power. So you downplay the strength, you can manipulate the power. So therefore, the power cannot protect the strength. Now the strength is all over the place, attacking itself, breaking up, this, that, and the other. Because you gotta remember, it's our way. Okay? Let's look at the Bible. And a lot of people start to realize it is a manipulative tool. It's been used, they have taken it, usury, and they have manipulated to have you looking outside. But what else have they done? Well, here it says, knowing someone, an extremely common Hebrew euphemism for sexual intercourse, is to know someone, right? When you think about Genesis, for one, Adam knew Eve, right? His wife, and she conceived. First of all, wife. I remember my great uncle son. We didn't do none of this Christian wife. We already did the Douglas, which call when he says, though I like Christianity, I like the, all the good things. They can't stand the crable robbing and the wife beating. But he put it out there. It's not of this land because it's manipulated. It was the lie. Okay. Remember they whitewashed King James, and ignorance still going to push that. All right. So let's get contextually. Let's go over here and look at Isaiah 57, chapter 8. It rebukes Israel for spiritual adultery. It says spiritual. What about physical? I told you you're sentient, and as you should know, that the soul and the physical are one. They had to divide it, like woman and man. Though we still hold ourselves, because when you go to get married, why do you have to fill out a form and do all this other stuff, and then you want to see what people buy you and get all these beautiful things, and then the divorce rate is beyond, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a perversion. Using imagery of a woman setting up pagan symbols behind her doors and entering a wide bed with other gods. Elohims, that's the state. We're the fallen. And I know you think it's something else. Elohim does not, it means the shadow things, the things that slept with women. Okay? Or other, right? Making covenants with foreign powers. Isaiah chapter 57, verse 8 rebukes Israel for spiritual adultery, using imagery of a woman, setting up pagan symbols, imagery of a woman, setting up pagan symbols. When you think about the phallus and all these things, the monuments behind her doors, symbols behind her doors, and entering a wide bed with other gods. Earth is feminine. With other gods. Is that realms? It describes abandoning God for idols. Abandoning earth. No wonder they have a problem with murdering and darkening the sun for the original sons and daughters, and right? For idols, making covenants with foreign powers, and engaging in forbidden worship symbolized by lust and infidelity. Who parted the Red Sea with a stick, a staff? Who parted the Red Sea? Eve. That's usually when people want to lay down and do something in the evening, right? ate the forbidden fruit. They used to say the apple or the pomegranate or the avocado or the mango, whatever, or the date or the or the plum serpent stick. You know, they got the stick with the serpent going around. What is it? What is it doing? She ate the forbidden fruit. How about the fact that Adam and Eve could always see that they were naked, but it didn't have to identify because it didn't matter? The feminine energy. There's nothing wrong with sleeping with a man, but to conceive, to make. How long has the light-skinned brothers been here? No, we're not pooping on our light-skinned brothers and sisters. You ain't been here that long. There are cities and worlds older than you by far your existence, and even now you see y'all can't even control what you're in control of now. It's not meant to last. But because our sisters slept with them, that was forbidden fruit. They slept with the forbidden fruit to them. It was never meant for them. I know what I said yesterday. Just pay attention. And the snake. They want you to think a snake is bad, something that's natural to the soil and the earth and everything else. They had to give it another name. So what snake? The one that would remove their strength. Make them hate themselves and hate those who they were supposed to copulate with. You see what I'm saying? Let's look at this here in Genesis, right? In Genesis chapter 4, verse 1, describes the first human sexual union outside Eden, where Adam had relations with his wife Eve. Adam, apple. She conceived and gave birth to Cain, saying, I have acquired a man with the help of the Lord. A lot of you know what Lord means now. Has nothing, because God, creator, or whatever you are, gods or them, will never, the name should be in your heart, because it tells you, for ye are gods. What makes you think that it has one name, or he or it, whatever, or through God? And you want you to be complicit in one narrative, not to be able to expand horizon of your knowledge. Let's make them in our image. This marks the first birth in the Bible. Then came who? After Cain came Abel. Cain, Abel, cannibal. Y'all, listen. And what and who would sack upon the woman to bring her into lower existence on the very earth in my story of creation Lilith walked on and brought forth? That woman first bared fruit, the good fruit, not the bad fruit, to which she was never meant for them to partake of, her being the good fruit as well. So they had to reverse it, flip it. What do you think? Government has held on to these lies, pushing a white sensationalist ideology, a narrative of falsehoods. A lot of y'all didn't know that when they were calling Chicago the witch card, that we use lime to paint our buildings because it kept a decent temperature in the cold and a magnificent, and kept it cool in the summer, so-called summer. We had 5 seasons, regardless, right? 28 days, 300. Y'all know that, and 13 months. People have a hard time because the perversion is so perverse. Woman has always been the strength of us. It fed us, breastfed, cholesterol, made us strong. We protected the woman, just like the newborn. Our seed would create the placenta that would be around the baby that was not supposed to be removed. It weakens us. We don't live nowhere as long. Just like your molar teeth were never meant to come out because they are closer to what? And they held all the cells that will help regenerate based on the frequency and the vibration of speaking life into existence. And so much more. I don't know why y'all ain't figured this stuff out. It's conflicting for me. Really confusing. Oh no. There it goes. All right. I got my tobacco, y'all. Anyway, right? White people. I know for you think you're white. And I know it's hard for you to break free of it. The conditioning, the psyops, the frequencies is very hard. But so many of you are coming into the truth, and it's a beautiful thing. So many of them, gay or not, straight or whatever, are speaking up. They've come to reality and the realization of truth. The only enemy that y'all will hear from, not just the ignorant, but those who are being conditioned to accept the other narrative. And it's funny that even exists. When you look at these things, right? You know, like the verb new. You know what I'm saying? It's a euphemism for sexual intercourse, meaning to copulate. I see you. You know, in the old African tales and all that, or in the old Chickahominy and all those, you know, Pequot and all them, that when the man or the woman is together and they know each other, you know the movie when it says, I see you, Avatar, right? And they connect and they love each other. What do they say? I see you. It's deeper than this. Remember, what does this go to? Right? What is it connected to? Remember, the heart is just a muscle. It helps with electrical pulses to keep everything, you know what I mean? And then all the other organs and everything is part of the system. Just like, you know, in the refrigerator, the pump that gets the R12 and all that stuff pumping around, you know, and the copper wires, right? The copper wires to keep things cool and at the right systolic rate. It's the same thing how our body performs or functions. Let's look at 1 Samuel, right? Chapter 15, verse 12. Okay, depicts Samuel rising early to confront King Saul, to find that Saul has gone to Carmel to set up a monument for himself rather than for God. Is God a woman? For ye are gods, but who was first? Who will be last? This action highlights Saul's arrogance and disobedience in not fully carrying out the Lord's instructions to destroy the Amalekites, prompting the end of his reign. First of all, it was all sexual perversions that brought the fall. Are we in it now? You know what I'm saying? You see it. Is it a repeat? It may be for a different time. I don't know. You guys can find that out. But the reality is, it's funny how the frauds, fake Jews, will say in order to be a Jew, it has to be by way of the woman's bloodline. But they subjugate the woman and put themselves over. Well, isn't that how they got the world running around? Make it make sense. But they love children, sacrifices, Talmudists. We're talking about the Talmudists. We're not talking about those Hasidic, the ones who practice the Torah. Unless it's both a big game. I don't know. But the reality is, whatever you think the reality is. Well, my synapses on the whole thing, how I see it, right? I always saw a woman as the head. But in the so-called Christian marriages, why is the woman taking the man's last name? Doesn't that destroy her father and mother's origin story? Is that how they usurped our people and got our names all over the place and people running around this fake history? I tell people all the time, when you get married, woman, if you take his last name, make it your middle name. Do not make it your last name. Keep your surname, your sired name. And that way you don't lose that. You still keep your genealogy. But if you don't, you lose your history. So in witch hunts, killed. You don't know who's able and capable. Remember, the woman's powerful. Well, she's strong. The man is power in the edifices of things. And yet they lie. Like, look, they call it California, but it's Carolina. Khalifa, Alcatraz. Think about the little things. And in the tree of life, they call it Devil's Peak. And then you look at Avatar and everything else, the tree of life is supposed to be like Mother Time or the old wise woman. The stories kept the souls to be comforted. Doesn't the mother comfort? And the sons and daughters guide with wisdom, and the men protect. What happened? What happened? What happened? Well, I just want to come on for a little bit. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to write some things. Brother Westside is going to set up a podcast. I think it's going to be fabulous to talk about all this UN and Ghana and all this other stuff with reparations and FBA and African this, that, and other. When I don't spew on anyone, I just have a hard time dealing with this new age terminologies and all this stuff. There's no balance in it. But we've let tethers run around, assimilate to us, and be dismissive of what we have permitted, and our sisters running around broken because they haven't been protected, only because our men haven't been truly comforted, because it's a two-way folly. But how do we attain it? Not by blaming, by knowing. They've made us think by calling things into the front street to correct that is blaming, so therefore we're supposed to fight instead of having a resolution to resolve. Think about it. We don't have ownership over one another, people. But see, when you go and purchase something, Target and all the other stuff, you believe you own it, right? But they have you paying taxes on a land that belongs to you based on the narrative. You don't know what EIN, just like Social Security. They sit there giving you out a couple $1,000s when there's hundreds of thousands they're supposed to be giving you. The system is so perverted and diluted because there's no unity. The very thing they don't want you to have when unity exists. You just don't see it. You let a handful of monkeys run around and still fear when you're fearless. Now, Moors and Mers and all that, it just means you were builders. Stop letting these people come with this Moor shit, having y'all jump on all that, oh, you're Moor, you're Merce, and this, that, and other. Stop it. You were great builders. Whatever it may have been that brought you in the calamity that you're in, you don't have to stay there. All right? It all kind of means the same, but they want you to think more means out of Africa and all this other dumb bull crap. All right, it's foolishness. We invented everything right here. The hell. And we're still doing it. Plasticine gas and GPSs and the story of the Matrix. Why don't y'all get together and make the Matrix and Terminator the way it should be made? With melanated damn people through and through. Don't cut and chase, because they did that, and when they created Godzilla and everything else, they had to get their little pale faces up in there and write you out. And the other people were so happy because they had been conquered and conditioned. Okay? Hey, niece. Hey, Dev. I guess you guys want to shout everybody out. Hodges and Warren, what's going on? What's up? How you doing, Bill? I appreciate y'all. Sharon, I just want to make sure I got everybody. Anyway, I hope that's helpful. You see what I'm saying? I hope that maybe y'all can find more from that and figure out some more. You dig what I'm saying? I don't have all the answers. I'm not here. I'm here to tell a story. That's not a story. These are little things that are always shown to me out of nowhere. It's just shown. Like, what's this popping up? And for some reason, I feel like to be attentive, to actually pay attention. Like I was meant to see it. It's weird. But you got to remember, the creators or creator or however you may want to see it, which is unimportant. Do not put all your marbles or your coins into one sock or marbles into one bag. Okay? What is meant to be will be. Balance, though, is the most important thing. You dig what I'm saying? All right? And I'm not working out today because I'm sore. I'm sore. I'll work out tomorrow before I go do laundry. I'm sore, man. Oh, my goodness. Oh, for those who don't know, if you're having issues and you decide to take xanthinium, whatever, take it with some fat. Get some olive oil, avocado, and some walnuts. Consume that with it. Do not just take it because it doesn't work. All right, like that. It has to have fat in order to mitigate factors of. Look it up. Okay. And y'all know if you want to donate. Y'all haven't been, so I don't expect it. But if you want, I appreciate it. And I'm thinking about, I don't know, there's other sites that I could utilize. And I'm thinking about it. All right, I'm thinking about utilizing them. So, and I'll let you know when that comes to fruition. You know what I'm saying? Again, I hope the information is helpful. We can make ourselves believe things that aren't true. Don't do that. I've seen that a lot of times. Don't do that. Don't let your pain be the very thing that pushes you away from your truth. Because pain has a way of doing that. It'll make you say things, it'll make you do things, it'll make you think and see things. Be bigger and stronger than the so-called pain. Be the light in the darkness. Okay? I know. It's hard. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Deb, we all still here, brother. That's the beautiful thing. It kicks us left and right. Balance. A little bit here, a little bit there. You ain't got to put everything on Front Street. Turn them damn cell phones off. Whatever happens, happens. You got to remember that. You've got to let go. How they say it, let God. That means let your intuition or intuitivity be there, Front Street, and put your ass not behind the steering wheel, but let Morgan Freeman drive Miss Daisy. You dig what I'm saying? I appreciate you. Hey, what's up, Sharon? Hey, Tom, it's good to have you here, beloved. Yeah, I just had my first little taste of pork salad this morning. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I don't eat breakfast. I don't eat till about 1, 2 o'clock. But I'm allowing the caffeine to drive me up a wall and continue to control the narrative. You gotta remember, Nestle, BlackRock, all of them, they're so busy poisoning everybody. Look out, what's calling them, bought out Tom's deodorant, right? Remember this right here? Let me pull this up. This one, little something right here. Listen to this. These right here, images, right? This family that made this stuff, okay? Let me see if I can pull up the proper And this is how, and you can look it up yourself who bought them out, and see for yourself what's going on. I want to pull up a good picture. Just by saying it, you already know it's supposed to be aluminum and fluoride free and all this stuff, right? But check out how these monkeys, how they do. Let me get this. So, as you see, this is Tom's deodorant, soap. They've got, I guess they got a toothpaste and all that. Well, fluoride and aluminum free and all this other stuff. But what they did, they bought it out after the so-called fake demic and the poisoning and murdering of millions, if not billions, right? And the first thing they did was increase putting arsenic, lead, and all other kind of toxins in there. Water did the same thing. And these bastards, if you know the story of, there was a video out where they, one of the whistleblowers told how when they get to the point when they start to reset, that they'll start poisoning everything. They're 3D printing, and half the time when they're telling you they've probably already done it. They were experimenting on people who are no longer here. And this is how sick they are. And our people still refuse to come together, still refuse to help those who can help them. Greed is still part of the sins, the seven deadly sins, or whatever you want to call it. I don't get that, because I'm not. There was a guy at the gas station over by Pima Reservation, at Chevron. He was sitting there, I was standing there pumping my gas. Gas prices, no need to be what it is, and big old guy, had to be about 300 pounds. He'd get around good too. He wasn't all deformed and all that. Digging, you know, the ash tray things that have a little hole, look like a thing we put ropes through for a red carpet, above a carpet or something like that. He had the top off, had that thing on top of the garbage, picking through it to get cigarettes. I didn't feel no kind of way. I just felt like it was my duty to go over there and ask him what brand of cigarettes you smoke, and bought him a pack of natives, the blue ones. It was only $5.45, and I gave him a pack of two. I wasn't for no charity or nothing. I just felt like I didn't care if he was Spanish, Native American, whatever. I didn't care. You don't need to be digging through there. And I watched people walk by, and their wallets, and I saw one guy counting a couple of hundreds, and I'm like, is it that hard to give to your brothers and sisters of this plane, in this realm? If you're being watched and you know these things exist, why not have balance in your existence? Why be that which they see that you can change and hold on to something that is never meant to be held on to? I would have bought him, but he was really, he settled upon that. Like if I go downtown and I see somebody out there with a sign, and I've seen this person numerous times, and they're not drunk and high, and I throw them a 10 or a 20. It seems like the moment we have, we want more and more. But it's the thing that's outside of us. We become so complacent and greedy or selfish that we'll say anything to make it all right to not give. I'm not here to prove nothing. I'm not begging or anything like that. I'm just pointing out something. Then you have other people thinking they're doing something better to grade the numbers to get to a certain position and downplay everybody else. We have become tirelessly immobile and destructive. We have become warlike. And that's not who we are. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. Yeah, Tone, what's up, bro? What's up, man? Yeah, oh yeah. But I hope y'all can see past. See the information, see past it, in order to move in a place where you don't have to have more something. It's unnecessary. And I appreciate y'all. All right. Y'all have a wonderful day. Maybe I'll see y'all tonight if I take lunch. And yeah, And I'll chat with y'all tomorrow.